What's going on, everybody? My name is Box from Boxmas Prime, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. This one's going to be a little bit different format-wise, as I just kind of want to ramble about my thoughts on the Midnight reveal and some of the stuff I'm really excited for. As a TLDR, I do want to say I really enjoyed the Midnight cinematic, and overall, I'm excited for the expansion. I think this looks much better than War Within. It's much more up my alley than War Within ended up being story-wise. And overall, it looks like a solid time. So let's start out with the cinematic, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. The main thing that I really liked about it was Lor'themar. I think he was portrayed very well here. Xal'atath was her taunting self, where she's taunting Lor'themar, the Blood Elves. And I also really liked Lady Liadrin here. I really liked how they tied her guilt into what she did in her past into this cinematic, and I love that shot of her walking up with the Army of the Light at the end of the cinematic. It was super cool, and quite frankly, the music when the World Soul Saga theme comes on at the end gave me goosebumps. So I think pacing-wise, it was cool. A lot of the shots that were nods to the BFA cinematic. I don't know if it was done intentionally, but I quite liked it at the end. There's nothing more badass than that, like, evil glare, like, from Xal'atath and stuff, as she's, like, smirking as the battle starts. And I feel like the stakes have been raised in Midnight, right? Like, I think this is going to be the Empire Strikes Back expansion, more so where War Within was just shaking things off. Now, I think if I'm looking back at War Within, I think a lot of us had this expectation that more stuff was going to happen in it instead of it being a build-up, whereas Dragonflight felt like it was a little bit of a, you know, calm before the storm expansion. The War Within kind of ended up feeling like that, right? We got introduced to Xal'atath, what's she doing behind the scenes. So I think we're finally going to get that payoff in World of Warcraft Midnight, right? We're going to finally see Xal'atath's endgame here. According to the devs, she's the strongest being in the universe now. So let's just pray to the Sunwell that Lor'themar Theron does not die in the first raid tier, or after the cinematic takes place. Now, I do want to say something. I was disappointed in the cinematic. I think the Army of the Light should have been a bunch of different races, right? Like, you could have had the Lightforged Draenei appear, Draenei, more Blood Elves, anything along the sorts. I think, you know, with the Alliance fatigue, there's a lot of humans in the background, but I love that shot of Liadrin where she uses the Wake of Ashes ability. It was very cool stuff. It was overall, for that cinematic, like, in terms of where it ranks for me, I actually thought the War Within's announcement was stronger than Midnight's trailer. Was the Midnight one bad or weak? Absolutely not. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. So features that we got Void Elf Demon Hunters. I'm never going to complain about more race/class combos. I do hope that someday we see more class races as Demon Hunters, specifically the Nightborn would be awesome. Orc Demon Hunters, Draenei Demon Hunters would be very cool. But overall, a step in the right direction, and we get a third Spec Devourer, which fits thematically with Void Elves really well, so I'm excited to try it out. I've actually been leveling my Blood Elf Demon Hunter that I made back in Legion recently, and been having a fun time with that. Now, something I will say that kind of caught me by surprise was the announcement of the Heronir in the trailer, right? So, Heronir, a lot of people speculated were going to be playable in the War Within. We ended up getting them here in Midnight, which was interesting, but I'm not entirely against it, right? I think if you're going to have that and you don't tie up that loose end, it's going to feel awkward. So in my mind, it is nice to see them. It's kind of like Blizzard committing to the bit where, yeah, we have a plan going forward, and I'm kind of glad to see that, because I think some people did want Heronir. To me, looking back on it in retrospect, Earthen for the Alliance, Heronir for the Horde would have made more sense in War Within. That being said, I'm not going to complain about Blizzard adding more races to the game. A lot of good stuff coming up, though. The other thing, we got the Prey system, which seems interesting enough, where we'll be kind of, how do I put it, like, we're going to be, like, trying to find, like, a specific NPC in the zone. It starts in the Silver Moon City each week, so I'm curious how that's going to play out. Don't know too much about it at the time of this recording, but the stuff I've seen looks interesting enough, and if there's more stuff to spice up the world content, I'm all for it, because I'll be honest, some of the stuff that we got in War Within, like the trash piles and Undermine, not a fan of that. Well, I did like Undermine as a whole, I think at a certain point, I really hope Blizzard looks at the renown system and slows it down a little bit and makes it a little bit less grindy in some ways. Because, you know, this is gonna sound, I am not a classic Andy, but I've been playing a lot of Mop Classic because I love Mists of Pandaria, and I like that the reputations are you complete the rep, you get the reward. Where in War Within, you do the renown, you have to grind resonance crystals, then you get the reward, then you have a chance of getting a mount and a bag. It's too much. It's too much. I think they should really cut that down a little bit. Just my take, small rant, but yeah, the zones that we're gonna be getting, the Void Storm, I believe the Void Zone's called. I'm not sure on that. Don't quote me on it. Looks interesting enough. We're going to be having a battleground there as well as Alliance and Horde hubs. All for it. Very excited for that zone on that premise alone. Zulamon. We're going to get Zul'Jon and Zul'Jara. I'm very, very excited about that. The Amani tribe has been something a lot of players have wanted for quite a long time. We're finally going to get them, everybody. So here's hoping they become an allied race because I think their model looks great. Always down for more troll races. And I'm just excited to see where their story goes. Apparently the Zandalari are going to be involved. Liadrin's going to be involved. So this is going to be a great zone. Definitely the one I'm most hyped about. Quel'Thalas, the Eversong Woods, Ghostlands, and the Isle of Quel'Danas have been turned into one zone. I think that makes sense given the direction the expansion's going in. All for it. Curious to see the changes. I believe the Dead Scar is now gone from Quel'Thalas, which is going to be interesting. And the map is actually attached to the existing Eastern Kingdoms. So very, very cool stuff there. I think the story, this is a small thing that Blizzard's doing, but I love the fact that the first raid tier is 3 different raids. You have one in the Void Storm. You have one that's going to be in the Heronir zone, which I didn't even talk about, but I am excited for that. It's actually tied to some stuff in the Emerald Dream, I believe. Someone was telling me, so it's pretty cool stuff. The last raid is going to be where stuff goes down and apparently change Quel'Thalas forever. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be the moment we've been waiting for in this trilogy, where Xal'atath is going to get something exactly what she wants. I also believe the Army of the Light is going to be one of the main villains by the end of this expansion. I think there's going to be some sort of civil war with the Sunwell where they're going to try and take over Silvermoon. Not entirely sure, but we have to wait and see for that. Overall, story-wise, this one feels better because the factions feel directly involved. Again, while I don't hate War Within, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't think it was a bad expansion, but Midnight has my sparks going again. I think it's going to be a really, really fun time. And this is just the beginning of it. There's player housing coming, a lot of quality of life changes to the transmog system. So overall, yeah, Midnight's looking to be a pretty fun time, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about it in the comments. Did you think the reveal was solid? Did you think it looked like a weak expansion? Did you think it looked like a good expansion? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like these rant style videos, let me know, and I'd be happy to do more. Take care, everybody.